Okay, I'm recording now. This is our first time doing lessons together, so that's pretty cool. I want to ask before we even get into it, have you like watched any of my other stuff or like watched lessons from like any top player or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so I watched maybe like two of your lesson VODs,
Mhm.
and then I've watched a few of like Drug Fox, like, random coaching from other
Yeah.
like top foxes.
Hmm. Hmm. Cool. Um, I guess I'm gonna ask, what do you think your goal is with these lessons and in melee in general?
Um, so I've been playing since like 2014,
Mm.
and I've typically gone like 0-2, 1-2, uh, like the entire time.
Hmm.
And I have like a small group of friends that I play with.
Yeah.
Um, but they've always been better than me. So my goal is like pretty much just get better than just my friends, not really a tournament goal.
Hmm. Nice. I think that's a good goal. Oh, okay, cool. Um, Honestly, I guess we could just get into the VOD. I don't think, unless you have specific things you want to talk about. Honestly, I think we could go right into it.
Yeah. So these games were from Wednesday.
Hmm.
I played against Bobby Big Balls in bracket. Um, and I thought I did pretty okay.
Hmm.
Like like I was surprised. I mean, it was probably more him like trolling, but
I mean, we take what we
uh
can get.
yeah. And then I also have more Falco VODs from the same tournament against a worse player.
Mhm.
That might be a good contrast to see how I do versus a worse Falco.
Yeah. I think that would be good. I think. Hmm. Actually, I don't have any thoughts. I'm ready to get into it when you are.
Sure, yeah, I'm ready.
Cool, cool, cool. Oh wait, I have a thing on. What the heck are these colors? Yeah, I have to turn whatever that is off. Second. Uh, this replays and playback. Configure dolphin. Okay, cool. For some reason, I had weird color things on, but I think they should be gone now. Yeah, I'll assume they're gone. Yeah, I'm gonna start the stream back up.
Yep.
Man, I wonder why. Okay, well it's fine. Okay, let me know when you're in and can see, and then
Yep.
okay. Hmm. Okay, so I have one thought initially, and it's I think that running shot was pretty good, but I feel like once you saw that Falco's like up on top platform and you were like on the ground, do you think you like were trying? Well, how do I word this? Do you think that you have like a plan for like what to do when Falco is like on the platform and kind of doing this stuff?
So my thought is I've been punished a lot by going for up airs
Mm-hmm.
because they just like down air me
Yeah.
or something. So I kind of like to chill.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of like when Falcos do it against me, I kind of just let him do it for free,
Yeah.
which is probably not good.
I mean, I think not trying to super engage with Falco on platforms good. Just because it's like if you're wrong, you might get killed randomly, right? And we don't really want that. Um, I think watching this, I feel like this initial running shine was pretty good. Or attempt. I guess you messed up your tech skill, but I think it was pretty good. What I think made it pretty good is that like when you do this kind of running shine specifically, where you like see him run off the platform and then decide to do it, it like ends up being pretty safe against most things. And Falco has to like explicitly read it to hit it. So like in this case, him reading it would be like him doing like a downer in place, or like a back air, right? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Otherwise, I think in many other scenarios, the running shine doesn't really get hit by things, and it lets you like be precise with how you try and hit Falco coming down here, right? It lets you poke essentially. That's what I like about it. It's a nice little safe poke where it's like if he does the thing you want him to do, your running shine hits, and then you get like maybe your shine tech chase. But if it doesn't hit, most of the time it'll end up being fine. And then you see that you ended up being fine, right? So I think that one was good.
Yeah.
I feel like after though, I don't really like this attempt because I feel like you're kind of just um hoping that Falco would end up there and get hit by running shine, but I feel like he didn't actually have like that high of a chance of getting hit by it. Um, do you have any thoughts on why you think that is? Watching it in real time.
Um, no, I'm not. I'm not really sure how the interaction works.
Hmm. For this one, I think what makes it not as good as the other one is that since Falco's like, you could have seen that Falco's like double jumping from this position, right? And been like, okay, I know that he's gonna go up there, and like you knew because you were obviously gonna running shine in this direction, right? But I think once you realize that he's like jumping up here, you have to change the way that you end up interacting with it because since he's jumping up to a platform, I feel like it's a lot more likely that he'll end up on the platform, right?
Right.
Just because he's trying to escape you because he's double jumping away. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so I think it's at least reasonable to assume that he's probably gonna like end up on top platform and like chill there for a bit. So I think doing something like this running shine ends up actually being not that great because the likelihood to hit goes down a lot, and if Falco's like if he wants to read you, it ends up being way more easy in this position because he's just like actionable, right? Because if you look at
Yeah.
Falco up there, he's just essentially like standing, right? He can just do whatever he wants, right? And so if he was like if he wanted to hit you, he'd be like, oh, I can see the fox is running forward, and then just like do like short hop, fast fall down there, and then hit you right here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I think you could do in spots like these where you see the guy jump to the top platform and you can't really hit him is like you could keep dash dancing right here, and I think that's really good. You could do like dash forward and then like full hop like into center, and when you do stuff like that, if Falco actually does drop through platform like you were initially reading, then you could jump over him and then end up on his back and get like a backer or something, which I think is good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think just chilling in this spot is fine
I
because he hasn't
agree.
come to me basically.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like he can't actually hit you from top platform when you're on the ground here, right? It's like how's he gonna do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think you're kind of stuck in the motion of like I'm gonna try and be aggressive against him. But I don't think any of your attempts have like actually worked, and I feel like since he's on top platform, you could do the thing that we just talked about, and you could just kind of chill, right? Just kind of
Yeah.
yeah. I also think this is like more related to execution, but you missed two running shines in a row, right? So maybe that means that you should like sit down and practice running shining, because I think it's really important because your shine not coming out here means that if he did do the thing you thought he was gonna do, you might just get hit, right? Because you don't have a move.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think since it specifically happened twice in a row, I think it's worthwhile to like practice running shining.
For sure.
Uh, um, yeah, I feel like this shine probably didn't have the best chance of hitting. They're just super far away. One thing a concept that I want to introduce is like, I don't know if you've ever heard me or like Direct Fox talk about it, but it's this concept of like reaction points, right?
Hmm.
Have you ever heard either of us talk about it, or?
I heard the term
Mm-hmm.
from you, I think, but I didn't know what it meant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So reaction points are essentially moments in the game where you are like in lag of like an action. So like say a wave dash, for example, right? And then you use the time that you can't, because when you're in lag, you can't do anything, right? You have to wait for the lag to end. You use the time that you're in lag to look at your opponent and see what they're doing, so you could base your next decision when you're out of lag off of that.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, and so there's a few ways, like that you could set up a reaction point. Like wave dash is a good one. Wave dash's length is like 13 frames, so if you look at your opponent when you're about to wave dash, then you end up getting like your reaction time's worth of time like elapses during your wave dash. So then by the time you're actionable, you can just do the thing that you wanted to do when you saw whatever, right?
Right.
Other examples are like doing Fox's short hop. That one is 15 frames, so it's like it lines up perfectly with the reaction, your like entire reaction time. Doing stuff like up tilt, full hop, all these different actions are like things that just put you in lag where you like can't really do a thing, and it lets you like look. Full hop is a special example because you're obviously actionable during the entirety of full hop, but you like are moving out of someone's like threat range, right? You're going up, and so like you have a point where like you probably aren't going to get hit, where you can't do like where you wouldn't do something where you can like look. Does all that make sense?
Yeah, that's really useful.
Yeah. And I want to bring that up now because I think what you kind of had an opportunity to do it like right here when you're on side platform, right? And so I think you're on side platform, you see that the Falco's right here, and then you like could play the next situation with like the information that Falco is standing right there, right? Because you had to be on platform, shield drop, land on the ground, and be out of lag. And so then I think you made a good decision, which is dash forward and maybe even to threaten something. But one thing that I feel like was missing from this decision was like the overarching idea that like you want to be reacting to like what your opponent does, right? Which is the goal of reaction point specifically, is you just want to look at what your opponent does so you can make an educated decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the main goal with reaction points is to get to a point where you can always be looking at the screen and make a decision based off what's happening. And I feel like something that you kind of missed is that when you were like dashing from like here to here, you could have seen that the Falco had jumped and been ready for the fact that like, oh, Falco could laser, Falco could, you know, could do like a short hop aerial or something, and then like play a bit more effectively. Because I feel like what happened here is you kind of saw that Falco was in this area and was like, oh, I'm going to running shine, but you didn't really see that he actually had jumped and that a laser was like something that could have happened. And so I feel like what happened
Right.
here is you end up really far away, and then without you realizing it, because you're expecting Falco to be right here, right? And then you do this
Yeah.
shine that like ends up putting you in like a puts you in like a pretty awkward position, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And does that all that like make sense? Where it's like you can see these things happening, and they like give you an opportunity to like make a decision off of it.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem because like in other matchups, I'm like spamming good moves, I'm like spamming drills
Mm-hmm.
and like shines, and then I'm surprised when I actually get a hit. Like uh so yeah, I guess I'm not reacting enough.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there'll be more spots that come up where you could like kind of explore the idea of like, oh, something happened. I can like see that something happened, and then do make a decision in response, right? I actually think a pretty good example is about to come up. I feel like this full hop, the second full hop that you did, is like a pretty good example of like a spot where I think you could have like spent time reacting a bit more
Mhm.
intentionally. Because I think you kind of got in the mode where it's like, oh, I'm close to Falco, I got to put out hitboxes, right? Because you're faster, and that's like a good thing to do. Um, but
Yeah.
I think you could have realized that like your drill hit in kind of an awkward way and then that like your shine probably wouldn't have ended up hitting, and then that when you do this full hop, that you could like decide maybe not to do like a drill or but to like jump to top platform or like drift back, right?
Yeah.
And that like you know maybe not much happened, but that's enough information to like guide your decision, right?
Yeah. The second drill was like pre-programmed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's something I like to call that just like queuing up moves, where it's like I am playing against the Sheik or something. And I'm like, oh, Sheik's gonna jump, and then like a lot of people, what people do, or what a lot of people do is they're like, I'm gonna queue up wave dash up tilt, right? Well,
Yeah.
since we talked about reaction points, wave dash is a full, almost 15 frames for you to like make a decision, and so you don't actually have to do the up tilt preemptively, right? They're two
Yep.
separate decisions, and so I think it's really important in Melee to not queue up decisions if you don't have to. Because if
Yeah,
you
that
can,
makes sense.
yeah, because if you can take in as much information as you can, then you could make the best decision, and then maybe it'll go well, and it'll be great, right? And if it doesn't go well, it'll be like, oh, well, I saw this thing happen, but I made a bad decision. But since you saw the thing and you made a decision based off something on the screen, it ends up being pretty easy to fix, right? Because next time
Yeah.
you see the thing, you just do something different. Oh, here's a third time you've messed up running shine right here after this position, right? So
Yeah.
definitely worthwhile to practice. Oh, you hit one though. It's lit. I think it was a good idea though. When Falco's like on the ground, not lasering or not jumping, I think running shining is a good idea because he's not fast enough to like combat you running shining if he's not already in the air. Does that make sense intuitively?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, here's another spot though. The second running shine that you did after this, I feel like ended up being pretty bad because I don't think there's that high of a chance that Falco like actually ended up in that spot. Um, Looking at this running shine's good, and then you realize that he like double jumps or whatever. But I feel like if you were gonna end up in this spot, the ways that I'd like to end or interact with Falco when I'm like, maybe crossing him up or like playing this kind of position is since you okay, so this I guess I kind of skipped over this piece, but something that's important to realize with this position is that like Falco shined in and it whiffed, right? And
Yep. He can only jump.
yeah, exactly right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So since he can only jump, you should know that he's gonna jump in some capacity, right? And I feel like going back to what we talked about initially with how we kind of want to interact with Falco vertically, is you could do stuff like keep on dash dancing right here, or like if you really want to be aggressive, then you could full hop into this space at a timing where you would catch him as he was landing from his like double jump thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like a good way to approach, dealing with Falco vertically because you don't want to like directly try and hit it because sometimes you'll just get downer shined and you might die, right? But if you try and
Yeah.
engage with it indirectly by either not not interacting at all and waiting for something more obvious to happen that you could react to and hit, or like full hopping over it and interacting only with the landing, then it's like it ends up being a lot more consistent and sometimes you do get good value. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, and that's also like this is like another point where I feel like you kind of missed like a reaction, right? Because I think
Yeah, that
you
that
go,
was
you
like a
go.
pre-programmed set as well, where I just go for the jab reset,
Yeah.
even though I didn't even hit a shine.
It's like I think you realize that Falco's like in a specific place on the screen after this position, but you didn't like look at what was happening specifically. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Because I
Yeah.
think you knew that Falco was here, which is why you tried to running shine, right? But I feel like you could have told that by the time at least you were done jabbing, like, oh, Falco had like short hopped, or had jumped out of shield in that area, right? Because what happens initially going into this position is you try and running shine. Oh, it's not on a shield, but after that, like cross up, and you could have told at least that he had jumped and then been like ready to play around it. But I feel like you kind of just saw where he was generally and then made a decision.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. it was good that you reacted to this air dodge, but you should grab it. Does that make sense? Grabbing the like air dodge landing instead of nairing it.
Yeah, it's just a full combo.
Yeah, yeah. Nair ends up being pretty bad because actually, if Falco is holding down, then he could CC shine, right? And then you get comboed. But you know, if you grab, then you just kind of get your hit and go with it. You know.
Yeah.
Mm, this is fine. Damn. Yeah, I feel like there are a few moments where you're kind of like not really reacting that well. Like after that nair, you kind of just up tilted, but I feel like um at this percent, like at 58, you know, nair up tilt doesn't even like combo. Like even if you got like the turnaround right, I just don't think it would have hit. Um and then after like once you like end up in this position, you like didn't really realize that like he had gotten pushed so far away from the nair that he was like over here, and so then I think you try and do turnaround up tilt, but accidentally end up double jabbing, which is fortunate, but wouldn't have been pretty good or wouldn't have been that good if he was like over here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you like missed, you like didn't understand that you doing this nair and then like realizing that it hit after the sub tilt that he would like end up that far away, right? Once the nair hit, and I think you could have seen that after like by the time you're actionable from your up tilt, right? Which is another example of like a reaction point that you missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's another. This the full hop nair. Um, the full hop's actually really good. This is like great full hop, I think. But then you do an early nair out of it, and then like don't give yourself the opportunity to react, and so then you're just like he's like doing a nair under you, and instead of being able to like full hop back air him or full hop drill him, you're just like nairing, and you can't like even hit him. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you know you do have to do. Actually, honestly, you don't actually have to do early nair ever, other than one specific position. Most of the time, I guess this is a secret rule. Not really that important now, but against Falco, if you're gonna do full hop nair, you can like delay the nair because Falco isn't gonna like in a lot of spots where you would be doing it. Falco isn't gonna be up here, you know. He's gonna be down here, and so you could wait to do the nair just a little bit longer, so you can actually like react out of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and there are some spots where you want to do early nair because it's like maybe you want to read the Falco full hopping, right? So you full hop nair and hit him out at the top, right? Or you know maybe you want to like maybe you're like right next to Falco and you want to hit him and you also want to full hop, so you do like full hop rising nair and it hits or whatever. But most of the time you can actually delay it and it gives you an opportunity to react. And if you want to nair, you can nair anyways. It'll do the same thing as like this kind of full hop nair if it hit, right?
I think I have a problem of just trying to do like the fastest
Mm-hmm.
option,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what's happening.
That makes sense. Yeah. That I know a lot of people who have that kind of issue, but I think sometimes it's good to not go as fast as possible. And sometimes because like if you don't go as fast as possible, then it lets you just like kind of vibe. And sometimes you need to vibe because, you know, you just don't have like the opportunity to hit your opponent, right?
Yeah.
Keep going. Good shield grab. You could at this percent you should probably do up tilt. I think you might have meant to do up tilt, but
No, I meant to do up smash.
Okay.
But it's not good.
Yeah, at this percent you could actually just do up throw up tilt and it combos, and then you get like an up tilt back air or something.
Okay.
Yeah, just to keep in mind. I think you played this sharking pretty well. I feel like you Yeah, you played it pretty well. Now you did not play that laser situation well. Let's see what happened. Oh, you just tried to jump. Maybe you got caught trying to like jump before the laser hit you. That would make sense. Nice. Oh, good up smash to the shield though. Oh, it's lit. This is good invincibility. Okay, I do think though that once you like hit your shield like this, you should try and move if you can. And I feel like you kind of just stayed in shield, so let them like do a thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of been experimenting with the light shield on platforms, but
I think it's
I
good.
don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's just if they hit your shield, that means that you get to like shield drop to the ground or something, and so then you get to be on the ground, right? That's pretty much all. That's how it works. But
Yeah.
you didn't shield drop, so then you ended up in this awkward position where you could like do whatever thing you ended up doing, push off shine. Oh, this is not good. This is a super classic. You kind of approach from too far. You see how far away you are when you're like dashing
Yeah,
forward.
full screen.
Yeah. And I think the biggest issue is that like when you landed, you did this dash back that you didn't need to do. Like there's no reason for you to like dash back here, right? Just because it's
Yep.
like, what is Falco gonna do to hit you right here when he's down airing in this position, you know?
Yeah.
Um yeah. Okay, he's oh that was good. Um Another little small punish thing, but at this percent you could do up throw up smash
Okay.
on this DI, so that's something worth practicing too. You don't have to tech chase. You could do like up throw up smash or up throw like regrab, like the chain grab, right? Um, good. Oh, I think you missed your combo.
Yeah, falling up there.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. It like did not look like you died, but you died just super fast. That's funny. Oh, that was not good.
Yeah, 3 times in a row is
Yeah.
probably not good.
I think the second one, the first one, and the second one were both reasonable, but it's like, are we really gonna do it a third time? So yeah.
Yeah. I have that problem too. It's like if I miss something, I like to go for it again just to know that I could hit it or
Uh huh.
something.
Uh huh. Yeah, that makes sense. I think grabbing is probably better than up smashing, just because
Yeah.
like up smash you get nothing, grab you could get a hit, and you could combo off of it. Oh, this is really good. What the heck? Nice. You played this super. Most people don't play this position like passively and try to get to center stage. You did a really good job. It sucks that your up tilt got down there, but I guess that's just mix-ups in melee. Oh yeah, you can't fall to the ledge like this. I feel like once you get hit by these two lasers, it's like it's just a mix-up, right? If you like fall to the ledge like this, and he reads it, then you get like laser forward tilted. But what you can do is after getting hit by the first two lasers, you could like double jump back and then like recover with up B or side B, right? So you can see like you double jump back here and then like fall somewhere and then either side B, you could side B the platform, or you could like up B here or like lower or whatever. Um,
Yeah, for sure. This is too easy of an option.
yeah, and you just have to do it all. Sometimes you double jump, sometimes you fast fall. Either one is okay. I think you grabbed ledge too early, honestly. You could grab ledge a little bit later, but that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is. It seems like this is kind of like a habit thing, where it's like when he's jumping around, you kind of just like shadow him on the ground. But I feel like it's good to do that sometimes, but you also have to like fully disengage sometimes too, because
Hmm.
it it feels like when you have an opponent like Bobby who's down to like jump around a bunch, it feels like you're safe the entire time. But in actuality, like he could have done run off backer here, or he could have done run off backer here, and both would have been like pretty bad. Like you would have gotten hit the first time, and then the second time you would have gotten your shield pressured, right?
Right.
And so it's like
It's funny to see my fox just like chasing after him.
yeah, and so it's like it looks and when he's like not getting hit, it looks like you're doing something all right, but you're actually not playing the mix up, and you could be getting hit, and it's just kind of like oh so happened that you haven't gotten hit. So I think again the things that we talked about initially were about like taking your time, dash dancing in place here, sometimes full hopping over the spot. Are both good things. Going to side platform is also a good idea, but he's on side platform right now, so obviously you don't want to do that one.
Yeah.
My god. Wow. Um this is good though. The shine was good. Uh I think instead of drilling here you should forward throw. Does
Hmm.
that make sense? Just like because when you drill, what makes drill better than forward throw or forward throw better than drill is that when you drill here, they should actually never end up off stage because they just have to DI in, right? If
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, if they just DI in on the drill, then they'll never end up off stage. And they have no reason not to DI in just because it's like, you know, what move are you going to hit them by that would incentivize them to not, like, to DI away, right? It's like, you know, you can't really up smash in that position. You can up smash, but DIing in on up smash at this percent, they also no DI or whatever. Um, it's like, it's really that's like the only other move you have, I guess. Is it's just grab up smash and running shot. And up smash gets teched or in DIN isn't that important at this percent because they probably just like tech towards center or whatever. And then with grab, you can react to the fact that they did grab and then like change your DI. So it's like they could just DI wherever they want. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? So it's like with forward throw, you get like I guess this kind of ends up in me talking about like what the forward throw mix-up is, but when you forward throw people at the edge like this, you essentially have a 50-50 where in one of the scenarios they die, and then in the other scenario they like, you know, get back or like have the opportunity to recover.
Hmm.
And so that's why I think forward throwing is really good. Generally, without going into like any of the specifics, what makes it really good is that you have the opportunity to just kill them immediately every time you do it, right? Um,
Yeah.
just to like kind of shortly cover the dichotomy of like the forward throw thing is it's just like when you forward throw, it's either like they could instant double jump or they could like double jump or they could instant double jump, they could shine stall and then double jump, or they could like double jump back and then do like side B or up B, right?
Yeah.
And pretty much the like basic way to cover those things is like you could do like if you want to read instant double jump, you just do F throw F tilt, right? If you
Hmm.
want to read them doing like shine stall, you do F throw run off shine, and then it just hits them. Um, and then if you want to read them doing double jump back into recovery option, you could either do like full hop off shine or like forward throw into like dash back, shield stop, and try and like back air a side B or something, right? Does all
Yep.
that make sense for like how to hit those things?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a mix. Like Falco can do like double jump down air stuff to like read you trying to run off. But you know, I think other than that, there isn't any other way that like, other than the double jump down air, there's no other way that you like immediately get reversaled. Um, so and like you end up dying because you reversaled. So that's pretty much my thoughts. But good shine regardless. I think landing on top platform here is better than landing on the ground. Just because it's like I'd rather be up here than next to him, because you see where you end up. You end up like pretty close to him on the ground. It's like I'd rather be up here than down here. You know.
Yeah.
He read you. Trying to shield. Oh, here's a good example of a spot to do the full hop over. So it's like he's double jumping. So what you do is you would jump over at a timing where you would like end up above him essentially. So he'd be falling with whatever double jump thing, and he'd be like right here, and your full hop would be going over him. Can you like visual or like imagine that? Where he's like falling and then you full hop over him falling.
Right? Yeah. It would be kind of a delayed one.
Yeah.
In this exact position.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. He got pretty greedy trying to hit him. I feel like shining after the up tilt was like reasonable because it's hard to react, but at that point, once you like do the wave shine, you should like realize that your shine isn't like this second shine just isn't actually gonna hit anything. So you could like change your decision, and that's like this is another reaction point thing, right? Where it's like you did the shine into wave dash, and then during all that time, you could have looked at your opponent and realized that a different situation's happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like after they shine, what I feel like you could have done is like shine wave shine forward and then been like, oh, I'm gonna full hop in place, or oh, I'm gonna running shine forward, or I'm gonna like start dash dancing right here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then you end up like you keep on going forward, and then you like just kind of get shined randomly, and you could have died. Yeah, same thing with all the other like vertical spots in this one where it's like you don't actually try and like the way you never wait. I guess you always just try and immediately try and hit him when you see him in the air, which Bobby hasn't done anything about it, but you play against another Falco that does, and then you'll get comboed a bunch, Oh. Yeah, you just have to like always go above.
Yeah.
There's not really a mix up here, honestly. It's just always make sure that you go high enough to not get hit by a downer.
I play on a frame 1. I could have went to ledge, but
oh, I see. Damn, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Frame 1 moment. I don't know the angles on frame 1, so
they're pretty dumb.
Okay. Okay, well then if you're gonna go on the ledge, then you should totally do that. So I guess my main thoughts for that game are just like, the big things that were really the problem were like, running shine tech skill, obviously practice running shining. We talked about Falco's like vertical movement, how to play those positions, and I think you could do a lot more of like dash dancing in place, or like the full hop over thing we talked about. There's a few combo positions, but it's pretty much just like I think that you should stop up smashing as much as you do. The way that I see up smashing with Fox is I like up smashing at really low percents because I could get like either a direct hit off of it or tech chase, and I like up smashing at really high percents because it kills. Every percent in between, you could find a better move. Up tilt's probably a better move. Nair could be a better move, but like up smash is almost never the answer at like the middle percents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then we talked about a really big thing, which is like reaction points, and I think we didn't go into I didn't point out every single position ever where maybe you reacted poorly, but I feel like we hit a lot of decent ones where it's like you clearly were doing an action that put you in lag, and then you didn't look, and then the position ended up going poorly because of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a really, really, really important thing that you will have to like practice for, the rest of your melee career. Like it's just like a thing like that. It's one of those things that you always need to be good at and be able to do. Just like because it's just reacting at the end of the day. Look at your opponent. Do they do a thing? What thing are they doing? And how are you gonna like respond to it? Right. That's essentially the important part.
Yep.
I guess I'll pull. All right. Do you have any thoughts? Will I pull up the other VOD?
Sure. So, being under side platform is kind of preferable in neutral rather than like in the middle of center stage almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Because I guess I'm just uncomfortable being under side platform when I should be like chilling there more often.
Yeah. I agree. Do you think? Do you know why side platform is better than like, or is safer than being like directly under him?
Um. Mm, well, as Fox, if you get opening from like the side into the middle, you get the full combo.
I agree.
Like, um, I know in Fox it was like you like when you get shined under side platform, you pretty much snap the ledge.
Yeah.
So that's another good reason. But I'm not really sure in the Falco matchup.
So my thoughts on why I think being under side platform more often is better than being like under top platform is when you're under top platform, Falco can come down with an aerial or like something from top platform and it's like completely unreactable for you. So it's like if Falco does like shield drop fast fall down air and you're standing under him, you just cannot see that he did that. And he will just hit you before you can like react, right?
Yep.
But
yeah.
when you're underside platform, he doesn't have like I'm gonna just go to a random part in this match. So when you're underside platform, I'm gonna get rid of the ready screen actually. Oh, that zoomed out. Okay, cool, perfect. When you're underside platform and he's on top platform, he doesn't have an unreactable thing that hits you. Like he can't run off down air and hit you right here, right?
Yeah.
Now he can do like short hop off, right? But going back to reactions and stuff, when he short hops, that gives you enough time to react to the fact that he did something and lets you make a decision, right? And so that's the biggest part of why side platform, being under or maybe on side platform, is generally safer than being directly under Falco when he's on top platform. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it, and I think that is like obviously you want to sometimes go under like top platform because you know Falco might come down and you sometimes want to hit him, right? But you know this is like your safest spot, and then this is like a riskier spot that you can transition through. Yeah. Well, this is the next match. I think they're both on Dreamland, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I think this is the next match, so you could watch through it. I think jumping the top platform here is really good. I think dropping through and trying to hit them though wasn't that great, right? Just because for you, I think the biggest issue with why coming down here is bad is that I think that by the time you actually come down with this down air or like in a way that could hit him, he'd probably already like move.
Right.
Is it like clear why he would have like already moved?
Yeah, you could dash forward and get out of the way, or you could start his own back air before I can do mine.
Yeah, I agree. Since he was like essentially actionable by the time you were up on top platform, then it's like if he's able to move now, he'll never not move and just stay in this place, right? It's just how it goes. And so we see he like even jumps and your down air attempt just doesn't work. Oh my god, you dash dance. Oh, sick. Yeah, I feel like you dash dancing here one more time meaningfully changed the position. So you running forward there was actually good. So
wow.
What made it? So I think this running shine's pretty sus. It's all the same stuff that we already talked about. It's just inconsistent. But what makes this dash dance good is that you wait in a spot where it's difficult for him to hit you, and then it gives you the opportunity to like react. And so what would happen is that like you'd do this delay and then you start running forward, you'd realize that he like shined, right? And then you'd know that, oh, he has to double jump. And so now you're prepared to play this mix up with his double jump, right? That's why I think this position is a lot better. Like you doing like this run forward is a lot better than a lot of like all the other ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like slightly delayed in his double jump.
Yeah, and the biggest part is that it gave you something to react to. Because I think in these spots, it's kind of just guesses. You're just playing a raw mix-up, right? It's like, I know a mix-up's going to happen, I'm going to play it aggressively, and then that's like pretty much it. But in this position, you're engaged in a mix-up, but you know what mix-up specifically you're engaged in, and you could make a real decision because of it, right? That's the biggest difference. It's like an informed mix-up versus an uninformed mix-up. And you want as many of the mix-ups you play to be as informed as possible, right? Just because the more information, the more precisely you can make a decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mess up your wave dash back shine, which sucks. Or maybe you meant to up tilt. You meant to up tilt, definitely. Yeah. See, yeah. I know up tilting on the frame 1 is hard because I think you have to use modifiers and stuff, but I think it is worth practicing because you've also messed up tilts like this a few times. So,
is up tilt even a good decision at 0? Like he's already on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think up tilt was the best decision. I think you should have, if you're gonna do this wave dash back, you definitely should have done wave dash back shine, just because you get your tech chase. But yeah, I did want to point out the up tilt tech skill stuff, just because it's like, you know, it's good to have spots where it's like clear that you have poor tech skill and you could fix it pretty easily.
Yep.
See, up smash, it just at this low percent, guess what? He just teched it and then nothing happens, right? But what you should do is the thing we talked about before.
Grab.
Yep, you get to grab and you get to forward throw. And then you get to run the mix up, and sometimes they die, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that grab was pretty bad. Yeah. But I guess it worked out. Oh. Just probably have to shield. Oh, wow. I feel like you had a free bear here. So you like dropped through and he like was down there in your shield. Like you totally could have just bared him coming down. And you like see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I know that you've done like a decent amount of things out of the laser, but I actually feel like your out of laser game isn't that great. I think that you could be doing stuff like take laser dash back or take laser dash forward or like, you know, power shielding lasers like a lot more. I think right now you're kind of, when you do interact with laser, but like most of the time, it's just like you don't have a great plan for the different spacings you end up at. And then, because I feel like what makes me feel this way is that we go back to this position that happened a bit earlier. I think it was right here. Maybe it was after this. Yeah, it was after this. No, it was not. What the heck? There's a spot where, okay, I remember. Here we go. It was this spot right here, where I feel like this spot, you like did not understand that you're gonna end up at this spacing against Falco, and then you ended up, you know, doing this grab that I feel like was kind of not that great, right?
Right.
And the big thing is that like, this is kind of another reaction points thing, but I feel like when you were doing like that running shine and then the wave dash, all this time from the wave dash to like literally you going through this laser lag, you could have been like, oh, Falco lasered and it's now going to end up back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like what you could have done maybe is like do like take laser jab because you know you're going to end up close to Falco, right? And take laser jab is a really good thing when you're like going to end up horizontally like really close to Falco post laser, right? Or take laser shine
Okay.
maybe. And I feel like that is like, but like the big takeaway is that like with these laser spots, you could like, you know, since you're gonna end up, Falco has to jump. That's like a reaction or a thing to react to in general, right? You see Falco jump, and your brain should be like, okay, he could laser and he could aerial, so you should already be prompt for it. And then it's like, once you realize that he's lasering, maybe after the laser's already come out or the laser hits you, then you could like use or make more informed decisions with that information, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think there's going to be another one coming up where I feel like this. Um, yeah. Okay, so I feel like at this point you could have seen that Falco's like lasering from top platform because like what you would have seen is that you would have realized that laser is coming out right now, right? And it would be like, okay, I'm not in Falco's aerial threat range, and laser's coming out, so I can, you know, I should be prepared for the laser to hit me in this exact way. Because it's like, you know the laser's going to come out for however many frames beforehand, right? And so I feel like at this point, you should have, like, a plan. And I think you might have messed up tech skill maybe with not dashing forward or whatever, but it's like, you know, I don't feel like dashing forward there is even a good idea. I feel like what I would have done if when I ended up at this spacing against Falco coming down with laser is I would have, like, done like laser shield because you're actually pretty close, and Falco doing like laser aerial at this spacing with you not being able to dash back is actually really good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how you don't have the corner to dash back into, so if he does like laser approaching aerial, you kind of just like could eat shit.
Yeah. It's like two lasers, like more approaching lasers if I dash back. That'd
Yeah,
be tough to get out.
yeah, and so I feel like shielding right here is a really good idea because the only way Falco is going to hit you if you shield is by grabbing you, right? And so,
Yeah.
um, it's fine. I guess technically it's a mix-up, but I don't really think you had any reason to dash forward there into this down there. It's just like you're safe right here, you know. You could just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that this is like, it might be, you know, I don't know how necessarily meaningful this is in this exact moment, but a big thought I have with Fox against Falco is I think Fox is losing when he's trying to hit Falco as directly as possible. Because
Okay.
Falco is really good at directly interacting with Fox because he has larger hitboxes, because his limbs, he has laser which stops Fox, and that's like mostly it, right? Falco just his moves generally tend to beat Fox when he tries to interact directly. So like if you and Falco, you nair forward and Falco dares forward, Falco's dare is gonna win, right? And so I feel like as Fox, I want to like interact as indirectly as possible with Falco as I can. And what I mean by indirect is like doing stuff like full hop over and back air the back of him, or like full hop in place with my back turn and then back air him, or like full hop over him and then like drill, or like dash dance, let him whiff an aerial and then like running shine after he whiffs the aerial, or use like drill to whiff punish, right? And do you see how those things are all like indirect compared to like, you know, trying to nair him like in the face, right? For example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. We could watch a few more stocks of this game, and then I think we should wrap up.
Okay.
I feel like you also have the habit. It's you already said this before, but it's just the habit where it's like you whiff the up tilt and then you do the up tilt again because it's like I want to do the thing I just didn't that just like didn't work. But I feel like after this first up tilt, which probably wasn't even that good of an idea or whatever, but that's irrelevant. You should be like, oh, this up tilt missed. I'm gonna like start playing a different mix up, and technically up tilting again is a part of the mix up. But what if you just like dash back here, right? He does this down air, and you get to like dash dance grab him, you know?
Yeah.
Oh well, you just accidentally dropped shield. No, dash attack doesn't actually work because he can tech it because he's trying to L cancel. Yeah.
Snap.
Do you know about that? How like with dash attack, a lot of the time it just gets teched because people are like holding down to fast fall and L cancel.
I guess I never thought about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, that is.
Cause
Or you go.
no, it's just like that's just how teching works.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the button.
Yeah, but that's like a big thing to know is that like with dash attack, a lot of the time this is just a thing that happens because their whole dash attack is like a relatively weak move, and so people can tech it for like a really long time, and so when you like use it to whiff punish, you should or you probably shouldn't use it to whiff punish like aerials like this, just because this will happen and then you'll get shined, right?
Yeah. And isn't it even CCable at like 68 or
Yes, yeah,
whatever?
they could just
So
like
it's not
actually
even
CC
good.
it.
Yeah, so it's not even good in any respect.
Yeah, I mean, if you could catch him out of the air with it, it's good. You get a tech chase, it's great. But if you hit them when they're landing, or or you like hit them out of CC, you just get exploded on. Honestly, I guess I feel like we probably aren't going to cover anything super new, so you could probably just wrap up now. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
um, I guess my thoughts are a lot of the similar thoughts to the first game that we watched, but there's just a few more. The big thing that we've really talked about in this game was the thing about lasers, where it's like I think getting a good idea of like when Falco lasers and like when you can like how you can tell where you'll end up relative to him when he lasers is like really important. And using things like visual cues, like him jumping or the laser startup in some positions and what action you're doing, you could use all that information to like judge where you'll end up from the laser. Because I think sometimes it's hard to tell. It's not like you know exactly where you'll be every time Falco lasers, right? But like we could use all the information we have to like try and get better at that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and um, the big thing is just like reaction point stuff, and um, I think to like to make it like something actionable rather than just like this idea that you know you can react to things. So like what I did when I was getting better at it to like practice it is you could go into 20x axis like a CPU or something and then just like have the CPU stand still. But like every time you do like an action like a wave dash or a full hop or a short hop or like an up tilt or an up smash or a spot dodge or a roll, try and like go through each of those things and practice like putting your eyes on the CPU, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just to like get yourself used to it, and then once you get into like real games, then you could start like trying to like make decisions and whatever off of it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts? Yes. Going out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just really have to work on those reaction points. Like I'm thinking how hard it will be to not do my pre-programmed sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking like how would I stop myself, I guess just mentally from from doing these bad things, you know?
uh,
But
I
I guess
think
it's just like comes with time.
yeah, I think it'll be hard to like stop the like tick, but I think you just have to like try your hardest to like when you see something happen on the screen, change your mind to like do a thing that would like interact with that to the best of your ability, right? It's just
Yeah.
like and sometimes another thing that you could do that could help is when you watch VODs, try and like see things like what I like to call it active VOD watching. And so when you watch VODs, put yourself in like the place of like the fox and be like, whenever the fox does something that you wouldn't have, sit down and think about it and be like, like you know, pay attention to all the like is like what does this beat? Why would he do this? Why is this good? And then kind of like reflect and see, do I do something better? Do I do something worse? And then it'll like also give you insight on like what these people are reacting to. Because if you look at like what just happened right before, you could probably tell that like, oh, he saw him do this and then decided to do that, right? And so
Yeah.
that's like a good practice in general for learning things, but it's also you could use it like you could twist it for like screen looking stuff too. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I the urge will be hard to beat, but I believe I used to. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have to start from somewhere, right?
You're right.
Yeah. That's all I got though. Honestly.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good first lesson.
Nice. And I mean, if you have any questions about any of this, you could always just message me. And I know it's not going to be easy. And so if you're ever confused, it's like I don't understand. How could I have reacted? What did I do wrong in this spot? You could send me a clip, or you could, if you feel like you did something good but it just didn't work, you could be like, why didn't this work? What? You could always just send me a clip or ask me any questions, and I'll answer you to the best of my ability.
All right. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Have a good rest of your weekend.
All right. Yeah. You too. Thank you.
Yeah, later.